It's really hot here. It's 11:15 in the morning, and it's, I think, already approaching 30 degrees, which is very uncommon for this country. So if I look a little flustered, you know why. Today I'm going to talk about a pen that I had been eyeing for quite a while, and at some point I decided to get one, and I'm pleased I did. And that pen is by Platinum. This is the Platinum Cool. It comes as a nice little box. Get the cardboard sleeve. And then you get the actual box. In the box are a couple of goodies. So this is just a plastic thing. Nothing too fancy, but it does look nice. You get your little Platinum instruction booklet on how to fill the pen, etc. Insanely useful. Then we have the pen, and we have a cartridge. I don't use the cartridge, but I got a converter for the pen. So you don't get a converter with the pen, you have to buy that separately. These cartridges are quite nice. They have this huge ball agitator in there, which is really undeniable. And they hold a decent bit of ink. I like them, but I'm a bottled ink guy. Okay, then we have the pen. That's all there is in the box. Here we have the pen. I'm going to cover the parts of the pen, tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'll do a writing sample. How about that? Okay, so let's start on top of the cap. There's not really any diamond or thing up there, and you probably already mentioned what's going to be one of my gripes, but I'll come back to that. We have the clip. The clip is completely unmarked, nice and shiny. You can see those little blue lights of my webcam in there. It is nice and springy, not too tight, not too loose, just the way I like it. You get, let me see, at the bottom of the cap it says Platinum in Japan. I'll try and make you see that. It's a bit hard to read, but you can see it right there just above the center band. And that's pretty much all I can say about the cap. Then you have the barrel, and it's a very simple design, nicely tapered. You get those little things at the end. Probably, I don't really know how to describe that. I suppose that is a part of the way they mold this. But I kind of like it. It looks a bit futuristic. I like the overall design of the pen quite well. And it's a demonstrator. I'm a sucker for demonstrators. You can get them in a couple of colors. I just got the clear version. Okay, the cap slides off. Nothing fancy. It's not a screw-on cap or anything. It does post. It posts very securely. Pleasant to hold. And then you have the section. The section is just beautiful. I put a red ink in there now. You can actually see that red ink, so that it's completely transparent. What you're looking at there is the feed. And this is all the ink drawn up into the feed, which looks very cool. And at the bottom end, you can also see that redness extending to the bottom of the nib. Just beautiful. Nib is simple, has the Platinum P on there. And what is that thing below it? I need a loop I cannot see. I didn't even notice that before. Thought it was just that P. It is a symbol that I do not know what it is. Do you know what it is? Look, a symbol just below the P. I don't know what that symbol is. Anyway, it's a symbol. The nib is smooth, pleasant to use, has an occasional startup issue. So sometimes, and that is really only when I actually physically start to write. So when I uncap the pen for the first time and put it to paper, it can be a little bit hard to start up. Once it has started, it's fine. No problems whatsoever. Works very well. Very smooth. Very pleasant to use. You get them in fine and medium, and you may be aware of that, but usually in Japanese nibs, when you compare them to Western nibs, it's what I call N-1. So Japanese medium would be close to your Western fine. Japanese fine would be close to your Western extra fine, etc. So it's always one nib grade below Western counterpart usually. This is a good medium. This is seriously medium. It would be a very fat fine, I would say, but you're going to see that in the writing sample. Okay, well then, you can unscrew the barrel, and one thing I'd like to point out is that the whole pen feels robust. For a plastic pen, it feels nice. I mean, when I pick up a Preppy, it's super light. These are versatile pens. I like them, but they feel like they could crack by just looking at them. And as you can see, a Preppy barrel is actually fairly thin plastic. I mean, this is not hugely thick. And I'm pretty sure I could actually just crack that. I mean, even just squeezing it, and I can make the whole thing warp. So this pen, the Cool, they've used pretty thick plastic. Look, that's a pretty thick wall, and that gives it a very nice, robust feel, and I really like that. Okay, then you have a converter, which with the platinum pens you just slide in all the way. It's a nice simple converter, can be disassembled. I always like that for cleaning, it's just very easy. And you can in fact disassemble the whole section. Yes, there will be a disassembly line video on that. Okay, cap the pen, maybe just show you a bit of the size. It's not huge, it's not small, it's a decent size, and when you post it, I find it a really comfortable size to use. And finally, let's talk a bit about that section. It's see-through, it is just smooth. There is no texture, a little bit of a flare there, which I am assuming keeps the cap in place. And I don't find it slippery or anything. It's pleasant to use. Okay, so what do I like about it? What do I not like about it? Well, there's a lot of things this pen has got going for it. It's affordable. It's not extremely expensive. It has a very nice smooth nib. I can't say anything about the fine nib. I have a platinum desk pen in fine, which is super fine, but not scratchy. This is not scratchy at all. I find it very nice to use. So that's something I like. I like the overall design. I mean, demonstrators are cool, let's face it. I'm pretty sure you could turn this into an eyedropper filled pen, although you do have the metal threads there, so I'm not sure whether you could experience any corrosion, but that could happen. It's not all plastic. That does make it a bit stronger. Things I don't like about it, well, there are a few. These are minor issues. Of course, those minor startup issues with the nib can be a bit annoying, but usually if you just press down a little bit, it starts, you get a good ink flow, etc. So that's no real problem. Bit of an aesthetic thing, the cap rotates a bit, and sometimes it rotates a bit more easily than at other times. I guess you can't really do anything about that in a slip cap, but sometimes I think the tolerance could have been a bit tighter. One thing that really bothers me a bit is this white inner cap. What were they thinking? It's the same with the Pilot Prera, for example. You get a nice demonstrator, you have a beautiful see-through feed, you have a nice nib, and you just mask it with white plastic. All the other parts are see-through, so they could have made the cap see-through too, I'm sure, and they don't do it. That distracts me. I find that annoying, because once you notice that, you can no longer ignore it. It's just a problem that you'll always notice. Nothing to be done. In all, a very decent deal for what you pay. I think you get a very nice pen. Okay, a couple of measurements, and then we're going to do a writing sample. I'm just throwing this on my little scale. Inked up, it's a little bit over 20 grams, so not bad for an all plastic pen. A couple of measurements. Capped, what we have is about 139 millimeters, not bad. Uncapped, yes, more or less. Okay, uncapped, I have a good 127 millimeters. Section diameter at the narrowest point, 9 millimeters. At the middle, 10, and all the way near the metal ring, which is where it connects to the barrel, I have just over 10 millimeters. So, there you have it. Nice pen. I hope this was useful. Let's look at some writing, and I'll see you later. Bye bye. Okay, so here we have the Platinum Cool. The ink is Ackerman, Chinatown. Chinatown. Sorry. Well, red, obviously. Thought that was clear. The paper is Rhodia. The writing is smooth. There is an occasional startup problem. literally startup, when you start to write. After that, once the ink flow is going, it's fine. I think the nib tines may be a little too tight together, but I'll look into that. Let's do a bit of fast writing. It's not legible, but I don't see any skips. As I said, once the pen starts to write, it writes and there are no issues. So that's very cool. What about wetness? As you can see, no complaints there. Nice even patch of ink, and in all honesty, pretty wet. I have no complaints on wetness of this pen. What about line variation? No pressure, adding pressure. For a steel nib, I think that is actually pretty impressive, especially in this price segment. Now you see I'm actually hitting the feed against the paper that gives these lines, but you see with a higher angle you can actually do some pretty interesting things with that. I find that quite impressive. Okay, well then we have some reverse writing. Quite smooth, much thinner, quite smooth. This is a medium nib, by the way, should that not be clear. Looks good to me. So, I like using this pen. I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.